Hi everyone, Queeveen here from the comfort of my kitchen. In today's video, we are looking at the sky for the 20th of September. So that is Culture Night in Ireland. So if you are in Ireland on the 20th of September, Culture Night puts on a lot of amazing events and often opens up areas that the public don't normally get to see or opens them at different times. So if you are in Ireland on the 20th of September, there are so many Culture Night events all around the country, and so many of them are worth going to take a look. We are pushing all the way through to the morning after Culture Night, all the way through to the morning of the 21st, about 3 o'clock in the morning, to take a look at Orion. Now, of course, we've taken a look at Orion previously in this show, and we've taken a look at that lovely red star, Betelgeuse. But Betelgeuse is the focus of today's video. We are going to dive into looking at this star and saying its name over and over and over again, if you are brave enough. So Betelgeuse, or Betelgeuse, depending on how you want to pronounce it, there are a lot of options. The English language doesn't really have one central standard the way so many other languages do. French has the Académie Française that decides how things are pronounced. Whereas with Betelgeuse, that's how I pronounce it. That's my favorite way to pronounce it, is Betelgeuse. Betelgeuse is very common. Betelgeuse, pronouncing this SE at the end as a Z is very, very common. There is also some recommendations to pronounce it Betelgeuse. If you say the word nurse without the R sound, if you say nurse instead of nurse, then Betelgeuse is one suggested potential pronunciation. Of course, they're all terrible butcherings of the original Arabic. Originally, Betelgeuse, or Beetlejuice, was more than likely Yad al-Jawza. Al-Jawza does sound like the end of Betelgeuse, or Betelgeuse, but Yad doesn't quite fit. Unfortunately for translators and transliterators, the Arabic language isn't written in the Latin alphabet. There is an Arabic script, which isn't an alphabet, but I won't get into the details in this video. I won't get rid of the atmosphere. I'll bring us out into the countryside instead. The Arabic alphabet, or the Arabic script, is very different to the Latin alphabet. And it just so happens that the letter Y, the Y noise, can look like the letter B, the B noise. So Yad al-Jawza became Bad al-Jawza, and Bad al-Jawza, of course, I don't speak Arabic, so I am butchering the pronunciation as well. But you might be able to see how someone mispronouncing the name might end up with Betelgeuse or something similar. It is also called the Marshall Star. It's got several other names. It is often associated with war and battle, and it's widely regarded as one of the brighter stars in the sky. How bright it is can change quite a lot. You can see here double star, pulsating variable star. The pulsating variable part is kind of the important thing. We can see here it's at magnitude 0.45 reduced to 7.2 by the air masses. That's not too bad. Betelgeuse can vary from being the 5th or 6th brightest star in the sky, outshining Rigel comfortably, to waning all the way down a bit fainter than Deneb, which is still in the sky, just over there. So there's Deneb. There are times when Betelgeuse is not only brighter than Rigel, but brighter than Capella, and we can see Capella up there, 0.05. There are times when Betelgeuse has been recorded to actually have a almost negative magnitude, almost zero, almost as bright as Vega. We can see here its designation is Alpha Orionid, which would normally imply that it's the brightest star. And I did go over this in a past video where I talked about the names of these stars. Rigel down here, and we should be able to see this, yeah, Beta Orionid. So we can see there Beta Orionid for Rigel, but its magnitude is 0.15. Betelgeuse's magnitude 0.45, and just like golf, we're aiming for the lowest number here. The lower the magnitude, the brighter the object appears. So Rigel is in fact brighter than Betelgeuse right now, and generally speaking, Rigel is brighter than Betelgeuse. However, a few different things can affect our view. So, of course, Betelgeuse is, well, disappears a little early for us here in Ireland, but that's okay. We can see that Betelgeuse is, for us in the Northern Hemisphere, higher up than Rigel. So not so much from Ireland. Rigel does get pretty high from Ireland, but if we were to travel to more northerly latitudes again, up to the boundary between Canada and Greenland, up there towards Nunavut, now we should see, perhaps at a different time of the year, I will get rid of the atmosphere for this part, we should see that Rigel stays quite close to the horizon, whereas Betelgeuse is at a reasonable height in the sky. So we can see there, yeah, we're still not at the North Pole, we're still only higher. We can see here, of course I took away the atmosphere, so it's not getting extincted by any air masses, but we can see that Rigel is closer to the horizon and Betelgeuse is significantly higher up. The closer something is to the horizon, the more atmosphere you're seeing it through, and the more atmosphere you're seeing it through, the greater it will be extincted or made to look dimmer. And speaking of being made to look dimmer, we'll pop back down to Ireland again. There are various traditional names for Betelgeuse from cultures all over the world, from the native North Americans or the First Nations of North America, extreme North America and Canada in particular. Betelgeuse was regarded as being brighter than Rigel, potentially because of its height in the sky and the prominence of its colour. There are stories about Betelgeuse from the far other side of the planet as well, down in Australia, where native oral tradition references the flickering nature of Betelgeuse. So the variations in Betelgeuse's brightness, they may have been known even before telescopes. Taking a look in here, we've got some bright blue stars and we can see some of the nebulosity around them. I want to show some of this nebulosity that we can see around stars like this. These bright blue stars, I think some of them probably are O stars. An O star is just a very, very hot star. O stars are still in the main sequence, but they're very, very big, very, very hot, as shown by their blue colour. It is believed that Betelgeuse was a blue star about 1 million years ago, although it is hard to tell. Betelgeuse has since become a red giant. It has aged. And when we zoom in on Betelgeuse here, it just looks like a star. It's a ball. It's a ball of light. But Betelgeuse isn't quite as simple as that. It's very hard to draw an exact boundary where Betelgeuse stops. Betelgeuse's atmosphere and the shells around its atmosphere, gas and other material, old plasma that has erupted off the surface, form rings and shells around the star. The outermost ones could reach as far as, hypothetically, Neptune. Let's say the center of Betelgeuse was where the center of the sun is in our solar system. The photosphere, the sort of hot atmosphere of Betelgeuse, would range out to around Jupiter, maybe as far as Saturn, even if what we would normally call the surface of the star will be closer to the Earth or Mars in distance. The very outermost clouds of material that this star has released would be as far out as the equivalent of Neptune's distance. So Betelgeuse, because it's after getting old, because it's after getting a little bit unstable, it's not quite as, easy to draw a circle around and say inside here is the star, outside here is not the star. The star's atmosphere stretches so much into space and gets heated up by the star, glows on its own, contributes to the brightness of the star, that it just makes things a little bit difficult. And if we take a look over here, its distance of about 500 light years, give or take 56 light years, that's another element of uncertainty. Because Betelgeuse is a variable star and there's no planets orbiting around Betelgeuse. It doesn't have a large, easily visible companion star orbiting close to it. So figuring out things like Betelgeuse's exact age and exact mass are incredibly, incredibly difficult. If we don't know exactly how far away something is, this error range, this potential variation, it adds that much variation into all of our other calculations. It doesn't look like Betelgeuse is going to blow up anytime soon. It is a perennial feature of many non-scientific journals to say that Betelgeuse is about to blow up, that Betelgeuse is going to pop this year or any day now, particularly when Betelgeuse dimmed and got much fainter around 2019, 2020. It's now believed that Betelgeuse shed another one of its outer layers, and this cloud of material blowing away from Betelgeuse cooled, turning to dust, essentially blocking out the light of the star, really dimming it or extincting it, the way our atmosphere extincts the brightness of stars. Yeah, we can see there 2 air masses for Rigel, slightly less than 2 air masses for Betelgeuse. So that's just a factor of how high it is in the sky. One of the reasons why it would have appeared brighter or was seen to be brighter by people living further north. Betelgeuse isn't going to blow up anytime soon. We can say its name as many times as we want. Betelgeuse, Betelgeuse, Betelgeuse. And we're still going to be safe. While we're looking here in the morning just after Culture Night, there's the planet Mercury, definitely visible in the countryside, even if that's a bit more difficult from the city. Luckily, a bright red star like Betelgeuse is going to be visible even in more light polluted areas, even when it is at one of its more dim periods. It won't get much fainter than the 20th brightest star in the sky, and it's usually closer to the 10th brightest star in the sky. So that's a little bit about Betelgeuse. I very much hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like it. You can also read some of this information on my website, queebeanscontent.ie, and make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you know to come back for the next video.